The world stopped for a heartbeat the night the news broke. Wang Yibo, the beloved actor, singer, and racer, had been involved in a serious accident. It wasn't a rumor this time. It wasn't one of those fake headlines that fans scroll past with a sigh of relief. This time, it was real, confirmed by multiple sources. The internet went into chaos, tears-filled timelines, and millions of fans whispered the same trembling words. Please, Yibo, be okay. It happened a night that seemed to be made for peace. Soft rain falling across the city, neon reflections dancing on the wet streets, and Wang Yibo's motorbike slicing through the misty night air like a silver arrow. He was known for his love of speed, the thrill of control, the hum of the engine beneath him. That night, it was supposed to be a quiet ride home after a long day of filming. But destiny had written something else in the clouds above. Somewhere along the highway, the roar of his engine turned into the screech of metal. A shadow, perhaps a car making an abrupt turn, crossed his path. And in that split second, time fractured. The world seemed to hold its breath as his motorbike skidded, sparks dancing like wild fireflies, before everything went black. When the first responders arrived, the streetlights flickered in the rain, casting halos of gold on the shattered fragments of his bike. Wang Yibo lay still, unconscious but breathing, his helmet cracked, his body motionless. The medics worked in silence, urgency trembling in their hands. Every second counted. They lifted him onto the stretcher, their eyes heavy with the weight of knowing who they were saving. Not just a man, but an icon loved by millions. News spread like wildfire. Fans first caught whispers on social media. Something happened to Yibo. The hashtags exploded within minutes. Weibo servers strained under the flood of anxious posts. People were calling hospitals. Reporters rushed to the scene. And the night became a storm of flashing lights, tears, and prayers. Inside the emergency room, the atmosphere was tense. Doctors moved swiftly. One checked his pulse, another prepared the foreline. Machines beeped rhythmically, the only sound that kept everyone grounded. A nurse whispered, "He's stable, for now." But the bruises were deep, his ribs fractured, and there were signs of internal bleeding. It wasn't just a crash. It was a battle between life and the thin line that separates the living from the silence beyond. Meanwhile, outside the hospital, fans began to gather. Hundreds, then thousands. Some carried flowers. Some knelt in the rain, whispering prayers. The world outside turned into a sea of candlelight and trembling hope. The scene was heartbreaking, a testament to how deeply Wang Yibo had touched hearts across the globe. Reporters tried to approach the hospital staff for answers, but every door remained closed. All that came out was a brief statement from his management. Wang Yibo was involved in a traffic accident late last night. He is receiving medical attention and currently in stable condition. Please respect his privacy during this time. Those words, stable condition, became the fragile thread fans clung to. Inside the hospital, hours turned into an endless stretch of waiting. Xiao Zhan, Yibo's longtime friend and the untamed co-star, was among the first to arrive. He rushed through the back entrance, avoiding the cameras, his face pale with worry. Witnesses said he didn't speak much, just went straight to the ICU waiting room, his hands trembling as he held his phone, staring at the door that separated him from his friend. At one point, a nurse came out and whispered something to him. He nodded, tears welling in his eyes, and for a moment, he leaned against the wall, silent, broken, but strong. People nearby could feel it, the weight of friendship, fear, and love all crashing together. Doctors continued their fight inside. Yibo's body had endured trauma, but his heart was strong. They operated through the night. Every minute was precious. As dawn broke, the sky outside blushed faintly pink. And that's when the lead surgeon finally stepped out, exhaustion written all over his face. "Is going to make it," he said softly. Those 4 words spread through the halls like a spark of light. Nurses cried. Xiao Zhan exhaled in relief, his eyes glistening. Outside, fans who had been kneeling in the cold rain began to cheer, hugging strangers, their tears finally mixed with joy. But even as relief washed over the world, the reality of what happened remained haunting. The accident had been brutal, the motorcycle totaled, and Yibo's recovery would take time. His management later revealed that he had suffered a concussion, 2 broken ribs, and a dislocated shoulder. It was a miracle he survived. In the days that followed, the hospital corridors filled with flowers, fan letters, and messages of love. Celebrities and co-stars sent their wishes publicly, messages filled with warmth and strength. Rest well, Yibo, one read. You've inspired millions. Now let us carry you with our love until you stand again. One nice, who wished to remain anonymous, later described a scene that melted hearts everywhere. When he finally woke up, she said, he whispered the words, "Did I make everyone worry?" before smiling faintly. Even lying there, weak and bandaged, he was still thinking about his fans. The world erupted in emotion. That one sentence, "Did I make everyone worry?" showed just how selfless Wang Yibo truly was. He wasn't just a superstar. He was a human being with a heart so full of kindness that even pain couldn't change it. As days passed, Yibo's strength began to return. He could finally sit up, speak more clearly, and even laugh softly at jokes from his friends. Xiao Zhan visited him often, sometimes bringing him homemade soup, sometimes just sitting beside him in silence. Those who witnessed their quiet moments described them as deeply moving, 2 souls who had shared fame, struggle, and now, fear of loss. But perhaps the most emotional moment came one evening when Yibo, still in his hospital gown, looked out the window and saw hundreds of fans below holding up glowing signs with his name. His eyes filled with tears as he whispered, "Tell them thank you." That video, leaked days later, became one of the most shared clips on social media, a moment that united people across countries and languages. As the days turned to weeks, the world began to breathe again. Wang Yibo was recovering. His team assured fans that, although it would take time, he would heal completely. But something had changed, something profound. The accident wasn't just a tragedy, it was a reminder. Life is fragile. Fame, success, and talent all can vanish in a second. But love, genuine love, can heal even the deepest wounds. Fans began writing songs, drawing fan art, and organizing candlelight vigils in his honor. Some even sent letters to hospitals, thanking the doctors who saved his life. The internet transformed from a place of panic to a celebration of resilience. And at the center of it all was Wang Yibo, the man who fell but rose again, stronger than ever. Weeks later, when Yibo finally stepped out of the hospital, escorted by his team and wearing a simple mask, the crowd erupted. Cameras flashed, but his eyes, gentle and calm, said everything. He bowed deeply to the fans waiting outside, a gesture of gratitude that moved everyone to tears. That night, he posted a short message online. "Thank you all for not giving up on me. I will ride again, but this time, more carefully. Life is precious, and so are you." The internet exploded with emotion. It wasn't just relief, it was rebirth. That moment became legendary. Wang Yibo's story became a symbol of strength, a living reminder that even when life shatters us, we can rise again. His accident didn't end his journey. It made it more powerful, more human, more real. And today, as he continues to heal and return to the spotlight, one thing remains certain. Wang Yibo is not just a star. He's a survivor. His story will forever be remembered as the night that broke hearts, and then, miraculously, healed them again. The rain had stopped, but the world around the accident scene was still trembling. The air smelled of gasoline and fear. Flashing red and blue lights painted the streets as if the universe itself was mourning. Every sound, every whisper of the siren, every hurried footstep of the medics seemed to echo one truth that no one wanted to face. Something had happened to Wang Yibo. As the paramedics worked frantically, a young man from the film crew who had followed Yibo's bike that evening stood frozen nearby, his face pale and hands trembling. "It happened so fast," he kept saying. "He was ahead of us, then a car it came out of nowhere." His voice cracked, swallowed by the chaos. Camera flashes from distant reporters cut through the darkness, bouncing off the broken glass and the metallic fragments of Yibo's motorbike. The bike, once a symbol of his passion and power, now lay twisted on the wet asphalt, the license plate glinting faintly in the dim light. As Yibo was lifted into the ambulance, his fingers twitched slightly, a faint movement, almost unnoticeable. One of the medics leaned in, whispering, "He's fighting. He's still fighting." The doors closed, and with that sound, a heavy metallic click, an entire fandom's heart broke across the world. Within minutes, hashtags flooded Weibo, Twitter, and every social platform imaginable. Wang Yibo accident, pray for Yibo, Yibo stay strong. Millions of fans from China, Korea, Thailand, and beyond began sending messages of hope. Videos of him smiling, laughing, performing, all resurfaced as people clung to memories of their beloved star. Inside the ambulance, the medics worked fast. The beeping of the heart monitor became a rhythm of hope. One of them whispered, "You're gonna be fine, Wang Yibo. Hold on." His breathing was shallow, his pulse weak but steady. The city lights streaked past the window, bright, blurred trails that looked almost like falling stars. By the time they reached the hospital, word had spread faster than wildfire. Paparazzi swarmed the entrance. Security guards struggled to hold back crowds of fans, some crying openly, others holding candles and pictures of Yibo from concerts and fan meetings. The hospital staff formed a tight circle, guiding the stretcher through. A nurse, later interviewed by the media, said something that would be replayed millions of times online. "He wasn't fully conscious, but I remember he tried to lift his hand. He whispered something I couldn't make out. It sounded like, 'Don't tell them I'm hurt.' Even then, he was thinking about his fans." That line became legend. It was replayed, reshared, and quoted across every platform. The kind of raw humanity that made Wang Yibo not just a celebrity, but someone the world deeply felt. As the hospital doors shut, the crowd outside began to sing softly, Yibo's own song, Wukong. Their voices, trembling and broken, rose into the night like a prayer. Inside, the emergency room became a battlefield. Doctors moved with fierce precision, stabilizing, stitching, transfusing. The chief surgeon called out vitals. One of them murmured, "His heart's strong. He's young. He'll pull through." Hours passed. The clock ticked louder than usual that night. Even the air seemed to hold its breath. Outside, fans knelt on the sidewalk despite the cold, some holding banners that read, "Yibo, you've given us strength. Now let us give it back to you." At around 3:17 a.m., the hospital lights dimmed in the ICU wing. Inside, Wang Yibo's vitals began to steady. The doctors exchanged exhausted looks, a silent understanding that the worst might finally be over. But the world didn't know that yet. Reporters continued to speculate, social media trembled with fear, and fans stayed awake through the dawn, refreshing their screens, waiting for just one message, "He's alive." And then it came. A breaking post appeared on Weibo from his management company. Wang Yibo is in stable condition after the accident. He is under medical care and conscious. We ask everyone to refrain from spreading false information and to continue sending love and prayers. The message went viral instantly. People screamed, cried, and fell to their knees in relief. Videos showed fans hugging strangers in the street, holding up phones showing his picture and whispering, "He made it. He's okay." But the truth was, Yibo wasn't fully okay yet. Inside the hospital room, under a wash of sterile white light, he opened his eyes weakly. The nurse who was by his side described it later. He blinked twice, then looked at us and asked, "Did I scare everyone?" And then he smiled, that small, tired smile that everyone knows. It broke our hearts. That moment was pure poetry, the kind of moment that would stay etched in every fan's soul. Even bruised and bandaged, even in pain, Wang Yibo's first thought was about others. That's who he was, a man who lived for his art, his fans, and the people he loved. Outside, dawn broke over the city, golden rays filtering through the mist. Fans who had waited all night lifted their candles one last time, whispering prayers of gratitude. Reporters captured the sight, thousands of flickering lights stretching like stars across the street. It was said that from the hospital window, Yibo could see them. He raised his hand weakly toward the glass and whispered, "Thank you." That single word, "thank you," became the heartbeat of the fandom. Within hours, fans across the world changed their profile pictures to candles, wrote letters, and organized charity drives in his honor. It wasn't just about an accident anymore. It was about unity, love, and the incredible bond between a star and his fans. In the days that followed, doctors confirmed that Yibo's injuries, while serious, were not life-threatening. The bruises would fade. The fractures would heal. But what remained, the emotional scar, the reminder of how fragile life is, changed everything. Wang Yibo's accident wasn't just a tragedy. It was a wake-up call, a reminder of humanity behind fame, of vulnerability behind perfection. Fans began calling him the phoenix of the stage, symbolizing his strength to rise again. And when Yibo finally posted his first message after regaining full consciousness, the internet stopped once again. It was simple, heartfelt, and full of meaning. "I'm alive because of your love. Thank you for believing in me. I promise to return stronger, but I'll never forget this night." Those words went beyond comfort. They became history. The night of Wang Yibo's accident may have begun in pain and fear, but it ended in light, a light carried by millions who refused to give up hope. Because that's what Yibo's story really is. Not about falling, but about rising. Not about breaking, but about healing. He reminded us all that heroes don't always wear capes. Sometimes, they lie in hospital beds with bruises and still manage to smile through the pain. Sparkles, if you love this heartfelt continuation of Wang Yibo's story, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe for more emotional and inspiring stories. Your support helps us bring you closer to the stars you love and the moments that move the world.